think about it, or I could just do it. You know, if you ignore all that, and you look at this and, you know, the steering column, you might think, hey, guy's onto something. I mean, that's pretty cool, right? I'm into this. Allow me to demonstrate the art of working backwards. Gang, there are some things in life that get to be a lot more fun the second or third time, you know, when you kind of get the hang of it, but this is not one of those things. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Between the Sharks. Today, we're gonna keep slogging away on getting the steering system set up. I'm gonna be honest with you, I've had a little bit of burnout going on. I've been hitting it really hard, but at the same time, I haven't been getting a ton done. It has, ever since we replaced the subframe and moved it onto the lift, it's been going a lot faster, but I mean, this project has been very slow moving for a lot of reasons. So I think I'm just kind of, you know, feeling it. I did a bunch of work last night, no camera involved. I just kind of needed to zone out and dive in because I needed to use my whole brain pan to figure out how to get this steering column attached to nothing. You know what I mean? We're trying to get the steering column in so that we can get everything moving around and I can get this thing, technically get it off the lift and get other things in here that I need to get on the lift. But it's the lower mount for the steering column goes somewhere where there is no firewall. And so I grabbed every piece of scrap metal and old bracket and everything I could to try to figure out a way to kind of get it there so that we could steer and build the firewall around it. And then late in the evening while watching Svengoolie, I stumbled over the original chunk of the firewall. So I'd shortened this column enough that it no longer protruded from this part of the firewall. And the reason I did that was to get the angle a little lower. If it came all the way out here, it was basically it's a geometry thing. I made the steering column work best for the ergonomics of driving the car and the angles of the steering that I needed. So then created a bit of a problem as to how to attach it. Now I came up with several ways before I stumbled on this. I don't know if you can see it, but the original firewall actually kicked out backwards and had an indentation for the steering column. So now I gotta figure out how to cut out this section here and put it in that section there. You know, it's probably 4 inches higher than it used to be, but that's fine. And I think that's what we're gonna go with. So wish me luck. I know what to do, I just don't know how to do it yet. What I can't decide on right now, let the camera catch up to the light here, is if I want to install that entire section of firewall, or if I just want to do this little bit right here. Not very long ago, I got this firewall in here, and now it looks like I need to pull it back out. I've got one tech screw in there right now, so it's kind of lined up where I want it to be. Maybe both of these units will come out together and we can do this on the bench, which would be better, although we may screw it up. All right. Oh, come on, little buddy. And we're working backwards yet again. So here we are on the back side of it. This is pretty swell. This is going to be a huge help. Conflicted because I actually do kind of like, you know, that nice curve thing going on here, but I already know that even this 1/2 inch in here isn't going to hurt me inside the passenger compartment, but it would help me probably with the distributor. So I guess I'm inclined at this point to maybe, I'm thinking I just clean up the edge, cut that straight out, and then we weld this section, graft it back in, and then figure out the rest, which is plenty of figuring out to do, but it would sort of put this kind of right where I want it for the steering column. So just gotta commit to it, which I don't want to do, but I should. All right, I think I'm at one of those points where I just need progress for better or for worse. So I'm gonna go ahead and line this up, try to get this as straight as possible. And we're just gonna cut right into this firewall, sink this in, tack it in, and see what that means for all of this craziness over here, because it's gonna be a little bit weird, but we'll figure it out. I'm using the old screw mark. I moved a 1/4 of an inch up because I was pretty tight to the steering column. Got a Sharpie line right there that I'm pretty well lined up to. I'm half inclined to just go ahead and bad chad this and just screw it together and then run the cutting wheel along both edges at once, see if it'll fit better. The reason is I've got that plasma cut edge that I'm gonna have to weld to here shortly. So then I could just follow that edge all the way around here and here. Could think about it, or I could just do it. Looks like we got a lot of that same kind of push and pull, song and dance to do here. Look, I understand beauty is in the eye of the beholder on things like this, but you know, if you ignore all that and you look at this and, you know, the steering column, you might think, hey, guy's onto something. Might just work. This looks all right. It's gonna make our steering column look natural. I feel good about the direction we're going. It's 1,000 degrees. I'm gonna straighten up because it's a disaster from just everything. Well, so I straightened everything up. So I have, like, you know, 38.67% smaller chance of killing myself due to my organizational habits. Overall, this firewall actually looks pretty good. I'm happy with the way that the reverse turned out. I pulled this thing out of here to weld it on the bench, and then it kind of just went spring. Because remember, well, it got clobbered, right? Got clobbered on this side, but now that we've reversed and reversed, our clobbered sections are inverse of each other, and it's all cattywampus. So what I'm saying is, welding it until it's completely tacked into a shape, I don't think we should be taking it out of there because it'll never go back in. So we got all of our vice grips back out. It also means I got to take my fancy thing and toss it back in its storage spot somewhere over here on the floor. We did an okay job cutting across the top. On the sides, the original cut was with the plasma cutter. Could have maybe done that a little better, but then when I went and cut the new section out of the top to like lift the whole jimmy jam up, I definitely had a chance to save myself some work by like doing better on that hack job, but I didn't. I screwed up. So we just gotta fix it. It's just a matter of, well, it's just gonna be more work and more welding. Thanks, self. All right, let's hot rod this cooler. That's ready for power tour. Easy come, easy go. Return to the mess. All right, we're in one of those situations where if I think about this too long, then we'll time travel. This side, I think it's kind of close enough to make work, and we'll just deal with that. The other side is a hot mess, and I don't really understand what is going on over there. So we're gonna do what we think we can deal with and fix, and then we'll worry about that catastrophe later. All right, so I grabbed some fire putter outer spray because this is rusty and full of crap, and it's gonna spatter everywhere, and my engine cover that My high dollar engine cover is not quite as fireproof as I would like it to be. So we'll give it a little bit of this anti-smolder spray. And then, unfortunately, gotta give my pal the boot, which I don't want to do. But, little buddy, number one dog, what about I trade you a treat? You want to go get a treat? Gotta remember, man, when you're welding, if you got sparks flying everywhere, or that pretty blue light, they don't always look away when you need them to, so... This is substantially better, like halfway decent. This is a problem, a big problem of my own doing. This, I think we're gonna kind of just hack this off and sort out this side, but I need to do something here. I don't know what to do yet. That's kind of my butchery and or lack of planning, which should surprise no one. I mean, that's pretty cool, right? I'm into this. Then I realized that's not the point. We started this project 3,000 years ago to just get the steering column mast fastened to the firewall so that we could complete our steering hookup. So now that is, I mean, I'm pretty pleased. It's kind of, I'm not gonna use the word elegant, but it has very factory feel because that is the factory cut out of the firewall. We are gonna try to use these two carriage bolt slots. Just means I gotta build a bracket that goes to the steering column that holds it right there. Thing about it is I don't know what the hell that bracket is. It's pretty simple. It's a thing with two holes that welds onto the thing at the right angle, but I haven't figured out the best thing to make it out of yet. So we're cogitating. That is usually my first stop. I keep a drawer full of brackets. Some are recycled, like whatever the hell this thing used to be, but I also keep this weird assortment of Speedway brackets because for the money, these things are cheap. Thick steel with a hole drilled in it, small. This is the kind of stuff that'll mess you up on the drill press. If you're trying to drill holes in little bitty stuff and you don't clamp it all down and you try to be like me and you're in a hurry, you end up with all these weird scars where things come flying off and, you know, they're sharp. So let's see if I can dig out a couple of these guys. I just throw them in on every order. I'm not sponsored by Speedway by any stretch of the imagination. You don't want to spend like $4 and then $15 in shipping. So I just look for these weird mounts and try to keep them around. I mean, that's like 1/4 inch. So more than strong enough for this. Way, way, way overkill for this, but you know, if the shoe fits. Well, that's not the right answer. So let's figure out a more different option. Gang, I've been pacing around. There's a simple solution to this and I just can't. I've thought of like 5 solutions, but they're all too complicated and I'm willing to commit to one kind of, but every time I start, I like back off. Like, do you guys ever get like that? Where you know it'll come to you, the thing that you need to do the thing that you need. I got 2 different versions sticking on there. None of them are like right. It's driving me nuts. think that's about gonna get us there. I can at least get a tack in right there. And then we can raise these up or down and then drill our holes after the fact. But because this is, yeah, I don't know, we're looking pretty good. I think I should do that and hope this bearing doesn't fry. Since we're on a little bit of a fire watch, because I just did a little bit of tack welding and, you know, we're just gonna hang out for a little while. Oh yeah, we did use the plasma cutter in the last half hour too. For my next trick, I gotta get a hole through here and manage to hit the hole on this bracket. Can't get a drill in that side. I'm just gonna take some measurements. Take a T-square, speed square, combination square, a thing that's square. See if we can make a mark straight across this way, get the depth. We're just gonna hope for the best and just try to go karate right into it. I grabbed these things and this. All right, if any of that we did is correct, little crosshairs, X marks the spot, maybe. I don't know. You guys over there? Anybody home? Yeah, we've got that. It feels entirely too late, and I'm way too tired for this, but we're gonna do it anyway kind of feeling. It's gonna fight me every step of the way though. Like, nope, that won't even fit. So, we'll try our first hole with a step drill bit, see if we get lucky. Of course, that's in the damn, everything's in the way. I broke my PV blaster again. Every time I knock these things off, I just snap the cap right off. And it's not like pops off, like it's snapped off. No whammies, no whammies, no whammies. Back this out, because that's actually threaded, I think. No way. You guys gotta see this. Come here. Unbelievable. 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 Oh man. I kinda needed a win. Whoa. I can't. I mean, it should have worked, but this never works. Wow. Okay. I think I just got to open the hole a little bit more for the right size bolt, and then, holy Moses, I can't believe that worked. Whew. I got lucky. I'm going to call it. I'm going to clean everything up. Tomorrow, we'll get a bolt that's this many long. We'll look at what we've done here. We'll assess the whole kind of contraption up under this joint, and we'll see if our steering is kind of in the right place. Once this is bolted in, if we're happy with the routing of all of this stuff, we can do better than tack welding. And then, in theory, I mean, the car would steer. Right now, because everything's just tacked, the resistance of the tires is enough to break the tack welds in the very poor way that I've done them. That was over 10 American dollars at the regular old Ace Hardware. On that note, please consider subscribing. Perhaps YouTube can help, you know, pay for some of this stuff with all the ads they're putting on the channel already anyway. Well, we appear to be binding up at this joint, which I know looks like a bit more of an extreme angle than one would like. But if I could remember where I put the things, oh. But I set my bevel gauge. This is, in theory, the maximum angle recommended by the U-joint manufacturer. So, I don't know. This is more acute than this, so it shouldn't be binding, and yet I'm watching it bind. I was trying to leave myself some flexibility to maybe run different exhaust, but I think we'll just build some new steering shaft pieces if that's the case. I think what I gotta do is shorten this piece so that this whole thing, instead of coming down and turning like it does, it'll be a bit, you know, more better. We've got a little bit of extra room we can work in here. Taking an inch or so out will do the trick, I hope, because, you know, I ended up having to pull my little piece because that was holding it in a serious bind situation. It's weird. I'm not sure. I don't know if it's because I got two angles going on and the combination total is just too high. Doesn't really matter what it is because it's happening. Dog has a solution though. Is that what you want? Okay. Allow me to demonstrate the art of working backwards. Feels like we gotta lose like, you know, about an inch, which is probably significant overall in the length of a contraption like this. Just in case. Oh, I dropped the pencil. Oh, I dropped that. All right, I was putting this back together and I'm realizing now I may have solved the wrong problem. What it seems like is that little nub that's sticking out is actually contacting the other side of the U-joint. They say nothing should protrude. I thought that was pretty darn flush, but apparently not flush enough. So I'm gonna take that out and jam it in the sander. I don't know, I may have similar, I used the same style of measurement on all of these, so I just need to check everything because that's reducing the movement, which would reduce the functioning working angle, which would make the binditude happen more quickly. So I'm gonna just review my work here and then I'll try to get you a closer look at that. I got the planes flying overhead. This is effectively our problem. You can see the inside joint kind of tucks into that divot just a little bit. Like you can see right down there. So what I thought was probably good enough was not good enough. So when my bevel gauge showed me that I had more angle to work with, bevel gauge was right. My assembly was wrong. So none of this will change the effective length of these steering pieces. All that's gonna happen is we're gonna grind down this here. So this bolt hole will still line up just fine. We're just gonna take a little off the top, as it were. Gang, there are some things in life that get to be a lot more fun the second or third time, you know, when you kind of get the hang of it, but this is not one of those things. Not at all. But at this point, I got it all jammed in there so that where the U-joint is jamming against the U-joint before it's hitting the steering shaft. So I guess that's just like old Borgeson intended. Well, now I've jammed it all back in there for the manyth time. Pretend like I did this on purpose as a learning thing. First of all, I forgot my doohickey that holds it still so it doesn't do all the loop-de-loops when we turn it. But also, let's talk about U-joint phasing. This works for your, you know, drive shaft as well as your this thing. Well, you see how that little poodle snapper is here, and then when we cruise up, this U-joint is 90 degrees to it. That means I just put this one in backwards. I am sure that that wasn't the problem earlier. I did check the phasing before it, you know, while it was not doing good things. And so yeah, we get to take it apart, take this U-joint and go swap it around. Try again. Try again. If at first you don't succeed, don't feel like I'm succeeding, gang. Ah, you sneaky little devil, you almost did it again. Get on there, little buddy. Yep, you get to be a part of the hot rod today. Manyth time plus one. Do what I want. Do what I say. Go there. I think we're good enough to check to see if we've relieved some of the binditude. The tire you're sitting on is up on a jack, so there should be a little resistance there. That's just kind of clamped. We got our like middle holder on her clamped. Let's see. like you guys are moving. That means tire's moving. Uh-huh. Whoop, whoop, whoop. You guys are against fender bracket. Watch what we're doing here, boss. All right, why don't you guys take a seat over here on the Cadillac? Nope, that ain't gonna work. All this contraption edge moving at once. All right, that's one end. Feels like it's moving pretty free. All right, gang, this was a hard fought battle. I think I did everything 3 times, and I lost more little nuts than a planter's factory, but it's mostly there and functioning. It needs some fine tuning. The tolerances and where exactly this goes need to be dealt with. Of course, you know, with the column mounted to the cowl sort of not really being mounted to anything yet is a bit of a problem. But at this point, we sort of know what we need to do. Now it's a matter of just continuing down the road. Hopefully not redoing too much, but putting the bearings and all that stuff in the column so that it's more stable, finishing the column drop, both the top portion and the portion by the firewall, finishing the firewall, welding on this bracket. And then, in theory, guys, we have a steering system which is, you know, significant, comprised of many parts that must work together, and through a lot of work, I think we might have made them, you know, a thing where they all work together. So good luck on your projects out there. We will see you next time on Between the Sharks. Probably where we just keep fighting the good fight and seeing how much more solid we can make this. Because if we can steer it, it'll just make my life a whole lot easier. And it's kind of critical if you want to drive it down the road. All right, we'll see you next time on Between the Sharks. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. If you made it this far, come on, man. You're in control. You guys are the only one that can help this channel grow.